Thesis Pact, Alternative Tactile Communication Program for Children with Multiple Sensory Disabilities by Flavia Moreira. Pedagogy Degree and Education Orientation, Master in Special Education from UFSCar, Doctorate in Education from UERJ. Hi, I am Flavia. I am a pedagogue and Master in Special Education from UFSCar. I am a teacher at Benjamin Constant Institute, and recently I defended my doctoral thesis in education at UERJ, entitled Pact, Alternative Tactile Communication Program for Children with Multiple Sensory Disabilities. The motivation for developing this research is that some of my students had other commitments associated with visual impairment, and I felt motivated to seek resources to help these children communicate in a functional way. In this search, I found the Tactile Symbols of an American School, which is Texas School for the Blind and Visually Impaired, and I've made an adaptation for those resources. And the objective of my doctoral thesis was to develop an alternative communication program based on the association of natural gestures, objects, and tactile symbols, and analyze their effects from the manifestation of communicative acts and actions by the participating children. It's important to mention that the use of the tactile symbols must respect the hierarchy of symbols. This means that you must first use concrete objects. When the child knows what the concrete object means within that specific context, that object can be associated with the tactile symbol. When the child is able to understand what the tactile symbol associated with that object means within that specific context, so only the tactile symbol can be used. These steps will depend on each child's time of understanding and should not be thought of being accomplished at a specific time. In my thesis, I first used loose objects. Then I used objects associated with natural gestures, and then I used objects associated with tactile symbols. I have developed several materials to represent the school routine of these children in a concrete way. And among the materials used, here I have some examples. So, there's the action category. It's shaped like a triangle. It's made with cardboard and the texture is made with green suede paper. In this example I'm showing, the perceptible clue is a little book to represent a library activity, because this one is the tactile symbol of action, and the object related to this tactile symbol is a little book of cloth that I passed to Briley. So every time the children went to the library, they researched the tactile symbol and this little book. The other type of tactile symbol, another category of tactile symbol that I used in my thesis, was the category time. Time related to the days of the week. In the case of this tactile symbol I'm showing now, it was made from cardboard, the texture of net fabric in the color red, and the perceptible clue that has in the middle of the symbol is a little ball of silicone, with silicone first to represent day of activity. Besides these two symbols, other resources were used. As I said before, I used natural gestures. These natural gestures were associated with two objects. The little glass, a toy glass. This glass that I'm showing you is a red toy glass. So every time the child went for a snack, the teacher researched the glass and made the gesture of drinking with the child, which was the open hand, the fingers stretched out and touching the mouth. Actually, the thumb leaning against the mouth to signal drink. And this represented the snack situation, and then the child went to the snack. The other object I associated with a gesture was a plate, a toy dish. This little dish I'm showing you is made of plastic and it's orange. So every time the child went to lunch, the teacher researched the dish with the child and made the gesture of eating with him, which was the palm of his open hand leaning against his mouth. That represented eating. The object was to represent the school routine of these children in a concrete way, offer conditions for them to manifest themselves using these objects autonomously to make requests. And then the teacher did the research with these children. It was asked if they wanted to eat. And the answer they gave was to put their hand in their mouth. And often they answered, even without anyone asking, showing that they had understood the meaning of these resources within that specific context. In summary, this is a part of my doctoral research. Credits: Translation in Libras, Brazilian Sign Language, by Tatiane Bonfim. Portuguese subtitles by Ana Carolina Toledo. English subtitles by Ana Carolina Toledo. Subtitle review by Paulo Mota. Dubbing by Ana Carolina Toledo. Edition by Fernanda Falkowski and Renan Antonello.